We have so many ideas.
So we made our brainstorming web together, and I did it on the board.
These are fantastic ideas. But before we write our paragraph, we need to decide how we will organize the ideas. Look at all of the ideas and look for some of the words that are the same, okay? So if we read them, let's go through and let's see if we see any words that are the same. Help you go to tops, help you carry books. Help.
You really have to explicitly teach students how to take their ideas from organization to the essay form.
So ladies and gentlemen, I think we should begin to write this in our paragraph, and I am going to write the paragraph there, okay? And you will tell me and help me to write it.
In my experience, I have found that no matter what level, but particularly at a higher level where students are able to produce more, there is a great disconnect between their brainstorming and their organization and what they actually write in the paper.
First thing I want to do and make sure that we do when we write our paragraph is make sure that our first sentence tells the main idea of the paragraph. My first sentence tells everybody that will read this that we're writing about a good friend. So let's begin. I will write the paragraph here and you will write it on your paper. And we are going to start. We're going to look at the topic of the journal. What does it mean to be a good friend? And we're going to turn that question into a statement. Good. And Henry, when he first said it, he said, to be a good friend means blah, blah, blah. But right now we're just going to say, to be a good friend means many things. And then we will tell later what are those things. So the first thing we need to decide is what should we write first? Well, you all told me that we see help everywhere. So I am going to say first, a good friend is helpful. Okay? Let's look at all the different examples that you told. So Masozi told us our first sentence. She gave us the first idea that a good friend helps me, and a lot of you also said that they help, and you gave examples. So let's decide which one we want to put next. And I already wrote about this one, so I'm just going to cross out like this so I don't write it 2 times, okay? All right, so I wrote about this one. What will I write next?
How about visit or play together?
But if I write about visit and play together,
How about nice?
and I write about nice, it doesn't make sense. Why not, Masozi? What does this sentence say, Masozi?
First, a good friend is helpful.
Thank you. So if Masozi is saying, and she told us that we should write, a good friend is helpful, I don't want to talk about now they're nice and now we play together and they come to my house. That doesn't make any sense. I want to continue with this idea and I want to give examples of how they are helpful. Okay? So first I wrote about this one. What should I write about next? What's 2, Sa'ed?
Help you do classwork and homework.
You got it. They help you do classwork and homework. Let's make this one number 2. And before we write it, let's find number 3.
With my beginners, we went through and we numbered which one should we put first, now second, now third. When we went through to write the paragraph, for some of them it's still very literal, and they wrote number 1, number 2, and you have to teach, okay, you don't need to write the number, but it's just an organizational tool.
Do you see how we worked so hard to think of so many ideas to show how someone is a good friend? And then we wrote them here. And then before we write the paragraph, we want to make sure that we put them in a good organizational order. Otherwise, somebody will read and they will read like doom, 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 and they will be dizzy at the end because they will not understand what you're talking about. So if we are talking about a friend, first, a good friend is helpful. We want to make sure that all of our examples after that talk about how that friend is helpful.
Students often want to know, how many sentences do I need to write for this paragraph? And it's not about the number of sentences or the length. It's about how much do you need to tell me so that you make a movie in my mind.
Carrie.
And you'll hear them talking. Oh, no, you need to add that. You better put one more example.
Good. I love the indent. Check out that. Be careful of that, okay? We are saying first, a good friend is helpful. And then all of this is the example of how they are helpful. And I am finished talking about how a friend is helpful. Now I will find a new thing to talk about.
Model, model, model. My advice would be to model one exercise, have some guided practice, and then they may be able to do it on their own.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we did journal number 10 together to make sure that we understand how to do it. And now I would like you to do journal number 11 all by yourself.